Novak, last year you played 4 Masters tournaments. This year, so far, you're now playing the 4th Masters out of 4. Are you surprised yourself that you're going at this pace this year?
A little bit. I haven't had that much success except in Miami, where I played finals, but all the others, the other 2 I lost in the first round. So hopefully I'll be able to win, at least one match here and then try to build from that. But I did play quite a bit of tournaments actually this year. If you think about it, from Australia, Brisbane, leading up to Australian Open, then Doha, Indian Wells, Miami, Monte Carlo, and here I am in Madrid again. So I'm kind of trying to build the momentum on clay a little bit and get my game to a higher level, desired level, to be able to play my best at Roland Garros.
When you're building that momentum, what do you go for? Is it a feeling or is it metrics that you're looking at?
I mean, it's obviously both and combination of things. You obviously need to be able to play not only matches but also practice sets with the top guys on the tour in a pre-tournament conditions with crowd watching. Then even at those practice sets, you still feel the nerves and the noise and everything. So I think that's, at times is challenging, maybe not really super enjoyable, but it is something that is necessary for the process of building your form.
Yeah. It's been almost 4 months now, also with Andy Murray as your coach, and he's known as someone who can really analyze the opponent's game. What's something that he's analyzed and was of value to you?
Well, I think our main focus is really me and my game, not as much as the other players, because I've been, as I said, maybe struggling a little bit last few weeks with the level of tennis on clay. So for us, it's really just how do we build momentum, how do we, get stronger in every area of my game and really be able to excel when we want to, which is Grand Slams. But of course his experience is tremendous, and he sees the game so well as anybody really out there. So it's always interesting to talk to him. But when it comes to prioritizing, it's mostly my game rather than the others.
And is there something in your game that he's pointed out that
Well, I'm not going to talk about that with you guys because it's private, confidential information that we normally exchange between us on the court, off the court. But for sure, we're putting in a lot of effort to make a lot of good things happen.
On a personal level, what's something that you learned about him that you didn't know before?
I mean, I knew he has a very dry humor, and it's really nice to see that side of him. I think obviously on the court we are quite serious, and both him and I, and when he was a player as well, he was so focused and almost at times going against himself or me against myself. So he understands that, and it's a lot of tension on the court, positive one. But off the court we try to talk about different things and just relax a little bit and crack jokes. And just before me coming to speak to you, we had a fun time at lunch and just laughed about different things, and normally making fun of our physio or some other members of our team. But it's all good, good stuff, good fun. And it's nice to get to know him on a personal level. We've known each other for so long, but mostly on the court and as rivals. So now it's also an opportunity to get to know each other more privately.
Thank you, Novak.
Thank you.
I'm looking at, in terms of injuries and things like that, we used to come to the clay and Rafa used to literally sweep most of it, and maybe you would go on a run, things like that. And now it feels like this generation isn't really able to put that together, not because of level, but perhaps intensity. I don't know. In your opinion, do you see this next generation, do you see us ever witnessing the kind of you would win the first 40 matches of the year, or Roger would do that, or Rafa would sweep clay? Do you see that happening again, or is the game too physical?
Well, I take that as a compliment from you and for our generation, but look, it's not something that was common. It happened once in every 5 seasons or something, you know what I mean? Yes, there was domination, obviously, from Rafa on clay or Roger on grass, me on hard court, would win whatever 3-4 years in a row, Indian Wells, Miami back to back. But that also came, for me personally, that level of, I guess, dominant tennis and achievements when I was 23-4 years old, and then after that. So between, let's say, 23 and 33 was when it was really happening. And Alcaraz is still not 23. So we have to remember that his age and what he has done for his age is not also normal. And I'm sure that we'll see a lot of him on the big stage with trophies in the future, whatever, 10 years, 15 years, as long as he's playing. I mean, the competition is always there. I think every generation has its different competition. It's hard to compare eras. The last 20 years was dominated mostly by the four of us. And, obviously when the three of my biggest rivals retired, then, you can feel there's a shift, not only in terms of the generations of players that are come now, all of a sudden, the main focus and attention is on them, but it's just, I guess it takes a little bit of time for people to accept the fact that Roger and Rafa are not playing, and Murray, and I guess one day myself, but I'm still trying to stay there and represent the older guys, the older generation. And hopefully that brings the positive effect to the tournaments and to the tour itself. That's also one of the reasons why I keep on playing, is because I feel like it also helps tennis still thrive on the attention and crowd coming in and watching tournaments and getting interested. But if you see the numbers actually of the attendance in the Grand Slams as well, and some like Indian Wells, it's some record-breaking crowd in the last few years. So which is good news, that it shouldn't be dependent only on the big stars or legends of the game that retired. The sport should outlive everyone. The sport will outlive everyone, and the sport is more important than anybody individually. So we are all here in the service of a sport as well. So I think this is something to keep in mind, that when you play and all of the things that you're doing outside of the court as a top player, you are trying to contribute to the popularity of the tennis, to bring more people, bring young children and people to tennis, and get interested and excited about tennis, which I see happening. But I think we still have big steps to make in that regard. And yeah, that's pretty much.
Novak, can I just ask, coming up is 10 years since your French Open final with Stan, and I just wondered where that ranks sort of best performance by someone against you that you've ever witnessed, and your memories of that match.
On the big stage, yeah, of course. I mean, that was, one of the toughest losses for me, because by that time I still haven't won Roland Garros, and there was, I don't know which final for me already. And I thought, I'm not playing Rafa for a change in the finals, and I, liked my chances to win my first French Open title, but then Stan stole it from me, and he played some incredible tennis. We still joke around. I tell him that the reason why he played so well is because of their shorts. I don't know how many of you remember that famous shorts that he was wearing, and he came up with the post-finals press conference with that shorts, and I really hated him since then. But no, we're good buddies, of course. I joke, and he's an incredible player, someone I really admire as a person as well, and I think he's very underestimated in the discussions, and he's won gold medal Olympics, he's won 3 Grand Slams, and just an amazing career. And he's 40 years old with God knows how many surgeries on the knees and everything, and he's still pushing, still coming in early in the tournaments, showing up, one of the first people that shows up in the club, and practices early and does everything that he needs to do, even more. So, I mean, that's super impressive. I really admire him, and Andy as well for that, going to the challenger level, trying to build your rankings, trying to get matches. you know, I never, I mean, I've never done that, never in that position that I have to, hopefully don't need to build rankings again back to go challenger level. But I really admire that. That says a lot about the champion spirit and mentality that these guys have.
Hi, Novak. Juan Martín del Potro said that he only will be coach if he was on your team. Is that possible, or you're fine with your team now?
Well, for now, I'm fine, but you never know. I mean, he's a great friend and someone that I really like a lot as a person. His values, his family, and we had a fantastic time in Argentina for his farewell match. I was very honored to be the last player he's going to play with, and he was in Miami watching my matches, more than few, from the box. So that was also exciting because I really admire his tennis as well and the way he played it, and we talked a little bit about the game, and it was very interesting to listen to him, to see how he observes the game. So you never know. Let's see. You know, I'm a young player. I have a lot of time, so I will, you know, have many years to think about.